Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, it's very good evening. So we'll be starting with today's webinar. Before I go with that, I want to just get a check on the audio and the video part. So guys in the chat, you can just let me know if you can hear me properly. You can just quickly give me a cheer. You can raise your hand or else you can mention S in the chat. Okay, cool. I believe you can hear me. It's Ajay Villav here again, and I take care of Verzeo operations. And today I'm gonna be your host, and I would like to introduce Nidhi Sharma. And today's topic gonna be on a pathway to product-based company. Before I introduce her, I would like to tell about uh, the webinar that we're gonna be going ahead with. So let's utilize this webinar for making use of the things which is required to, what do you say, let's say whatever the company that you are planning for, or else to opt for, what technologies, what skill sets that you can use. All those things will be discussed today. And today's mentor, Nidhi Sharma, and Nidhi Sharma has a bachelor in information technology, currently working in Adobe as a software development engineer level 2. She has experience in many multinational companies like Pep Coding, EduTech, and Lean in India, and many more. And she is keen on helping students with coding placements. And if you had checked her post over LinkedIn, I think no doubt she guides every student entering the industry. So that would be the thing on the introduction part. And she has a good knowledge of a lot of technologies, tools, and languages like C++, Java, HTML, CSS, SQL. And you can utilize this webinar to the best to make sure that you can ace the skill sets and you can plan your career accordingly. Let's not waste further time, and I would be handing it over to Nidhi. You can take it further.
Sure, sure. Hi, Ajay. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Good evening, everyone. My name is Nidhi. So, as Ajay already gave a very beautiful introduction of me, I am here to basically give you and share my learnings and experiences with you all to help you. Land into a job in the product-based company. And if you are looking for a switch from service-based company to product-based company, so this is a right, place for you, and the webinar is for you.
Okay, great. I think the agenda has been already mentioned by the mentor, but let me just quickly make you go through it. Nidhi gonna be speaking on her journey in Adobe, or else what kind of technical giants companies which are already there, and how to uh, make a pathway for landing into those kind of jobs. So she's gonna be speaking on that, and importance of internships and experience in landing those kind of jobs, and what to do if someone has, what is a difficulty in attending interviews related to communication part, or else let's say logical reasoning, basically how to prepare for an interview, and parameters on evaluation of interviews. It might be technical or non-tech companies. Okay, and do's and don'ts for interviews. So I think you guys are ready. Let's go with that. Manvi, before we completely dive into the topics, I want to ask you to make, or to say, you can just guide the audience, or else you can just tell about yourself, what all things that you have prepared, or else how is it like working in Adobe, what you have prepared for.
Sure, sure, sure. Share, I would like to start with my journey to Adobe. So I have completed my BTech in Information Technology from Indira Gandhi Delhi Technical University, and I am from batch 2019. So back in the college days, I was not just like some, most of us, in fact, who are not that brilliant or who are not that clear-headed कि करना क्या है, बीटेक पहली बात तो कि जॉब ही करनी है या एमबीए करना है, एमएस करना है, क्या करना है. So I wasn't very clear about that. So I mean, up till my third year, I would say, when people are, very well settled in their internships and all, I was not very clear during that time. So I mean, it's fine. I took a lot of time in actually deciding ki I have to do, a job in corporate, and I have to land a job in a product based company. But thereafter, I started preparing for, placements and all, because placement season was coming and I was, near to my final year. So I prepared for around, I mean, very rigorously for around, you can say, 6 to 8 months. And then I landed up, I ended, getting jobs in 3, 4 companies, very, product-based companies only. So it's not easy, first of all, to actually, prepare for such interviews, because they evaluate you on different, parameters. So before, sitting, I would say, in such interviews and going through that very tough, process of getting a job in product-based companies, it's very important for any candidate to actually understand what is the procedure, what are the different, parameters on which we will be judged, and being ready beforehand only with all of those things. Say for example, there are certain key points that I will be mentioning, just like DSA, data structures and algorithms. So this is like the key to success. I mean, if you want to land a job in software industry, so DSA is something that you will be critically analyzed on. They, all the product based companies, if you are looking for a software role, they will definitely be judging you on your capability, to how well you solve the problems, given problems, how good you are at problem solving, and secondly, core computer science subjects are something that you need to be good at to excel in the interviews. Just like two three subjects only, just like OS, operating systems, and DBMS, and some queries of SQL. So those things, maybe computer networking somewhere here and there, so very specific to companies that you are targeting. So before actually going ahead and sitting for the interviews, it is very important that you clearly understand the procedure, and you are very clear about the companies that you are targeting. And there are certain topics which are company specific, so you need to be very clear there.
Great. I think that answers the audience, like what exactly that they are looking for, or else what they can plan accordingly. So, Nidhi, a question from my end, that would be like, there might be few new audience who have joined here. So basically, they want to understand what exactly is the difference between product-based company and service-based company, and what kind of pay model do they give, and what exactly that they need to plan for, which is better. So can you just address it to our audience?
Sure, sure. So basically, if we broadly classify different companies, so there are two categories. One is product-based companies, and the other one is service-based companies. In the product-based companies, they have their own products. They create their own products. They are trendsetters. So they take care of their products. They have their own customer, base, entire base. If we talk about service-based company, as the name suggests, the main purpose of these companies is to provide some services, maybe to the businesses or to different organizations. So a service-based company may be serving or providing the services to a product-based companies. Now, talking about the number of rounds and how the interview process looks like in the product-based companies, since they are more into solving a bigger problem and they are trendsetters, so definitely number of rounds are going to be large. So generally, it is somewhere around 4 to maybe 8, 9 interview rounds. And very difficult to crack, definitely tough. And since the rounds are tough, and since the process of hiring is very difficult, so the best part is they pay you more. So salary is very high, and hike is high too. If you talk about the service based companies, so the salary is not that big because the interview process does not contain those many rounds, and it is easy to get hired in service based companies. I wouldn't say easy, but relatively easy in relative terms, I would say. And also, if you talk about working hours, so in product based companies, it's flexible working hours, since they, I mean, again, they are hiring somebody who's responsible employee, so they won't be like पीछे पड़े रहेंगे कि काम करो, that you have to be, responsible enough to complete your tasks and deliver them within time. In the service based companies, however, you have very, strict working hours, so you have to be, in the office doing the work. And so I think in terms of employee friendly policies, product based companies are better. And one last point, I think I would say ki learning curve in the product based companies is optimized. It is like you get to work with, different projects wherein you learn different and latest technology, whereas in the service based companies, it might be the scenario, since the products are like 6 months and maybe 1 year or 2 year, so you might not get to choose what you want to work at. So yeah.
Okay, great. So basically, audience, if you want to earn more and if you want to get a better exposure, and let's say if you are kind of a person who doesn't stick on to one thing and like want to explore a lot of different projects, right? You can definitely target product-based companies and you can go for it. And I think that would give you a better exposure and satisfaction also, I believe. So yeah, which brings to the next question. So a lot of college students, freshers, many companies does come to their college, right? But
Yeah.
sometimes what does happen is, let's say once they are out of their college and they might have started with some work, and after that, if they are targeting product-based companies, so what kind of off-campus interview procedure that they need to go with, or else what should be their the hustle, what to say, mode that they have to find.
Right. So basically, first of all, it depends what band do you, what kind of experience do you bring to the company. Say, for example, they keep a, years of experience in the eligibility criteria. So say, for example, you fall into 0 to 3 or 0 to 2. So they would consider you relatively fresher. So you will be sitting for SDE1 or software development engineer or software engineer one role. So, what is asked out of that role is you have a good knowledge of DSA, you have core computer science subjects knowledge, and of course, if you want to, attract the, attention of recruiters and HR, so you have to have a tailor-made resume in accordance with the job description, definitely, because that will be your first step to getting selected and a step ahead to getting an interview call. So during that, first the resume should be good, and secondly, you should, you will have to ask for referrals. So that is something that brings us to the second topic, that you need to have a good cover letter and good, all of those. You should know how to talk to the recruiter or somebody, an employee of that, basically company. And then your knowledge matters. When you get the interview call, the procedure will be somewhat similar to the one that we have in the on campus. You will have some technical rounds depending on the companies that you select. If I talk about Adobe, so it had 5 total rounds, which included one coding round, 3 technical rounds, and one last HR round. So total 5 rounds. So depends on the company that you are targeting. Say Google has 8 to 9 rounds perhaps.
Okay, great. So these are the rounds, audience, that typically you need to go along with if you are planning for product-based companies. And before I take the next question, I would like to ask viewers, if you have any questions related to it, you can definitely note it down, or else you can just post in the chat so that we can take those important questions at the end, and we'll just shoot it out to our mentor, and Nidhi would be happy to answer those. And I would believe that it would answer your questions, that the answers which you are looking for, right? So that would be the thing. And yeah, so going to the next questions, Nidhi. So what is the importance of internships? So let's say for a fresher or else for a beginner, right? What matters is the experience that they get. So that is through internship. So what kind of internships that they need to go ahead with, or else what kind of basic skill sets they need to keep with themselves?
Sure. I think this is a very good question, and it comes to every fresher's mind. So, there is a very famous saying I would like to start the answer with. It says everybody wants to hire some experienced person, but nobody wants to, hire you and give you that experience. So that is a very true thing, that it's very difficult for a fresher to, prove his or her skill set. And to do so, you need to, prepare accordingly. So nothing is good or bad or right or wrong. Everything is, both type of people are there, those who also already have, internship experience, and those who do not. Talking about myself and my personal experience, I did not have any internship experience as such, because as I already mentioned, that I was not very ready, and I was not clear that I have to do a job in corporate. So I did not do any internship. But uh, what a company, or what the recruiter or a product based company is looking into the, a candidate, is how well the candidate knows, the project that he has, or he or she has worked on. So those who have the internship experience, it's great, it's wonderful, it's good to have. And if you have done these, internships from top notch companies, then again it would be excellent. But if you do not have internship experience, it doesn't mean that you will be in some red zone, or you will not be hired. Don't be disheartened with that. The only thing is, if you do not have internships, make sure that you have some good projects to mention on your resume, and make sure that you are honest with them. By honest, I mean that you will have to work on those projects by heart. So, say for example, I mentioned 2 3 projects on my resume at that time, and I had to, fight with the, not fight, I would say I had to compete with the other people who had, or other candidates who had internship experience from top notch companies. So my the reason that I got selected was because I had done all those projects myself. So whatever questions were asked regarding the coding and anything, I was able to deal with those questions, very easily, because I had done those projects. So it's important that you know those projects completely and by heart. You may be asked to write the code of those questions, what are the learnings that you have gained from the project, and all of those things. So think about the projects that you need to mention, and also think about what can be the situational questions, or what can be the coding questions that can be asked on that project. So it would be definitely helpful.
Okay, great. So viewers, basically don't fake your resume, and whatever
Definitely.
the skills that is mentioned, right? It should be there in your head also, and you should be able to tell it to a interviewer who is asking about the skill sets or the project that you had worked on. So make a note of it, and be genuine with your resume and the skills that you are showing. So yeah, which leads to the next question. As you have mentioned, right, there are a set of interview rounds which would be there, and
Right.
what typically an individual round which might look like, let's say in terms of online interview test or technical or final round. So how it would go?
Yeah. So basically, if you are targeting in the product-based companies, there will definitely be some rounds where you will be grilled on your technical skills. They want to, within a very fixed amount of time, they have to judge you on different skill sets. So basically, every round contains some questions based on DSA, based on the core computer science subjects. And for me, it doesn't it there's no a sequence in which the questions are asked. There can be any questions, right? So say for example, the first round can be DSA, wherein you might be asked to solve some coding questions, and starting from the very simple or naive approach, you have to go to the final or the optimal approach. So it's very important that during that time you think aloud, and you keep the interviewer involved with whatever you are saying. Second, and each round is generally elimination round. That means it might be your last round to prove your worth. So it's very important that in each round you give it your best shot. Say for example, in the first round you are given some DSA problems to solve or some puzzles to solve. In the next round, definitely you will not be judged on the similar skill set. You will be judged on different skill sets, say core computer science subjects knowledge. You might be asked to write the SQL queries, or you might be asked some, OS questions or database related questions, how you will be handling the database. Because in the big companies, handling the database is like, it's like day to day activity. Every engineer has to go through it. And the third round will be project based round or your resume based round, because in the resume, whatever you have mentioned, they will be just identifying or pinpointing, to the keywords. That if you have mentioned in your skill set that JavaScript, so they will be asking questions based on JavaScript. So write only the skills or the technology that you have worked with. Or I would suggest to mention the levels to which any technology. Say for example, somebody writes Java. So in Java, it comes with whole lot of things. It comes with the frameworks which are associated with Java. Can you deal with them? Can you deal with the databases when it comes to Java, or it's just the DS that you can deal with, right? So you can, in bracket or somewhere doing the hyphen, you can say Java beginner or Java intermediate or Java advanced. So this also gives the idea that first you are being honest in your resume, and secondly it gives the interviewer the idea to what kind of questions or what level of questions needs to be asked. And thirdly, HR rounds are there, behavioral rounds, in which you are given simple day-to-day situations, like how will you deal with such situations wherein you have to deliver a project, and it's very, hard deadlines are there, and just to see your attitude towards, the problem, or how you deal with very difficult, and how you behave under pressure. So all those things. So the key would be to remain optimistic, and to be very honest, and to present everything very confidently. These three things.
Okay, great. That was a great answer, Nidhi. So I have a question from the viewer, Shubhajit Das, I think, which is also similar to the next question I was supposed to ask. So many viewers have what to say, a nightmare kind of thing which comes related to data structures and algorithm, right? Because everyone would be thinking about this particular topic itself, like how to prepare, what is the importance of data structures and algo, what all things to learn. So, what is your take on that?
Yeah, so I think you can consider DSA similar to, the importance of DSA in getting a software, job in a product-based companies is similar to as humans intake oxygen. मतलब हमारे लिए जितना जरूरी ऑक्सीजन है दिन में, मतलब जीने के लिए उतना ही जरूरी डीएसए है फॉर एनी सॉफ्टवेयर रोल. Because this DSA is not just, you are not solving any given problem, you are also showing how well you can approach a problem. They are not looking into कि ये question दिया है और इसका answer आपको पता है कि नहीं, आपने कितना रट रखी हैं चीजें. They are not looking into that. They are just testing you on your ability to how you approach a problem. Because in the real life scenario, when you get the job, in your day-to-day life as an engineer in a top product based company, would be you will be given a problem to solve, and there would be no defined answer. You will have to find the optimal solution to the given business problem, right? So DSA is that. Just whenever you are solving a problem, practice is the key. You practice a lot of questions, but remember one thing while you are practicing DSA, that do not just do the question for the sake of increasing your number of solved problems कि मैंने तो 500 problems कर लिया, अब I have the shield, अब मेरे को job देने से कोई नहीं रोक सकता, or maybe landing the job is easy for me. No, even if you have done 150 problems, just make sure that at the end of every problem you understand कि ये हुआ क्यों है, मतलब ऐसे ही क्यों हुआ, वैसे क्यों नहीं हुआ. Why did we use queue in this question or stack in this question, not trees, or maybe not linked list. So it's very important that you maintain the quality, or you your takeaway from that question should be well defined, so practice is the key, and it's very important that you understand the question, not just mug up the solution and move ahead.
Okay, Nidhi. Nidhi, along with that, can you help the viewers, like what kind of questions typically can be asked related to data structures and algorithm?
Yeah, so generally it's a fresher, it's there is no I mean shortcut to success, as everyone says. You have to have a control over all the data structures, be it stacks and queues, arrays, linked lists, dynamic programming, graphs, anything can be asked. First of all, you need to be very clear about the companies that you are targeting. Say you make a list of 10 companies ki yahi pe jana hai, then you refer this is the approach that I followed. Then I refer to Geeks for Geeks archive. There's section called archive. Say for example, I am targeting Adobe, so I'll go to Geeks for Geeks archive, questions for Adobe, and I will go through, there are interview experiences and everything. So after 5 6 reading 5 6 interview experiences and all, I will get to know that everybody has written the same things, right? Just like in Adobe, they are very focused and they are very particular about OS and DBMS questions, right? So you need to be good at them. But there might be certain companies just like Google who does not pay much attention to OS and DBMS. So you need to be very clear on what company you are targeting and what are the parameters that they take into consideration while hiring. Google only just sees the DSA and how well you solve a given problem. So that is the thing. So once you are clear about the company that you are targeting, then you need to see the questions, the type of questions they are they ask, and then you prepare accordingly.
Okay, great. So viewers basically strengthen your what to say your basement in terms of whatever that you are learning. Okay, and practice until unless you are thorough with the concept or else the topic that you are learning, right? So that might help you out. And Nidhi, a follow-up question on that, as you have mentioned. The DBMS and operating system, right? And what is the importance of these topics also in product-based companies?
So if you ask me, just like what is the use of, you tell me about virtual memory, right?
Mhm.
So I will tell you verbally about ki, this is what I have studied, and this is the thing. But
Mhm.
in college life, we do not actually experience the use of these concepts because we do not do hands-on that
Yeah.
much. But when you come into industry, you have to design architectures. You have to build, you are given a business problem and you have to solve it. So for solving that, for approaching to the solution, you go through different phases, and you design the architecture, you design the flow in which the way solution would look like. So in designing that, it is not given to you in any book, right? It's not like कि Adobe में ये problem होती है, इसका solution चाहिए, तो कहीं से देखकर और मैं कोड लिख लूंगी. It is not like that. We are just told the business problem, and similar to any product based company. So you will have to implement all those learned concepts of OS and DBMS while designing those architectures, while dealing with the database in day to day life. Say for example, I am talking about the primary key. So while preparing the table, you will be making a primary key to in a table to uniquely identify a row. So this will be the hands on. So these concepts will be applicable, दिखेंगे नहीं, but while you will be designing the things, while you have some experience, maybe 1 to 2 years, and you will be given the problem to solve, so you will be implementing these things.
Okay, great. So, yeah, so which leads to the next question that would be on, let's say, technical part. Everything has been thorough enough and concepts has been cleared and good to go for an interview. So when it comes to like sitting in an interview in front of an interviewer, there are a lot of things which comes in mind that how to answer it and how to present it to an interviewer, right? So in a typical 1 hour time duration or less than that, like how to deal with an interviewer, what are things to keep in their mind?
Yeah, so basically the interviewer, as I told, there can be different parameters that they are looking in any candidate. So
Mhm.
it's very important, first of all, that you are honest on your resume, so it will be easy for you to handle the questions which are asked from the interviewer.
Mhm.
Say for example, you mentioned clearly that I am no Golang and you have not worked, so with that technology, so it would be very difficult for you to sit and pass that time.
Yes.
So जितना honest आप अपने resume में रहेंगे उतना easy रहेगा आपके लिए. It might be that you might not remember the solution कि question करा था उन्होंने पूछा and you are not able to answer, you are not able to recall. So that's fine. Do not expect that you will know all the answers to all the problems, but you try to target the problem. Think at that particular moment कि अगर मेरे को ये unknown question दे, do not try to recall or remember the solution. Try to approach the problem there and then, and keep thinking aloud. I cannot emphasize enough the importance of thinking aloud in any interview, because when you are thinking aloud, say for example, you are given a question on arrays, okay, and you are just thinking in your head. I have taught a lot of kids during my, I mean, I worked 9 to 10 months at an institution which used to prepare the students for placements only. So I have dealt with such students and such situations wherein I used to ask कि भाई बताओ what according to you should be the solution, and they used to have such beautiful answers and optimal answers in their head, but still they were not able to express them because they haven't practiced with a pen and paper. So it's very important that whenever you are practicing, make sure that you have a pen and paper and you write that. मतलब stack trace interviewer पूछेगा ही कि बनाकर दिखाओ. They cannot just get into your head to understand that you know the answer, right? You will have to show that you know on the pen and paper that you are given, right? So make sure that you practice using the pen and paper, and make sure that you think aloud while solving a particular problem, because interviewer is there to hire you. It's not just कि उनको एक कारण चाहिए आपको रिजेक्ट करने का. They will find every reason, and they want to hire you. Why would they want to interview next candidate when you are the right one? So it's very important that you ask the relevant questions. If you have any doubts, make sure that you start solving a problem only when you are clear with the problem. And in case you need any help, the interviewer will definitely be ready to drop you some hints. Make sure that you're not rigid in your approach while solving a problem. Be very flexible. Show that you can incorporate the hints which are dropped by the interviewer and reach to the optimal solution. I think that will be very good and will prove to be in your favor.
Okay, great. And along with that, Nidhi, like the people who are struggling with communication part, right? Can you give any suggestions like how to make themselves better in terms of communication, or else just to present better in front of an interview?
Sure, sure. I mean, before the interview, you take mock interviews. So mock interview is something that is going to help you a lot in taking away that fear of sitting in an interview. Because you will be accustomed. अगर 2 3 5 mock interviews ले लिए हैं, तो you will be accustomed of the situations. You will be accustomed of कि इतना प्रेशर होता है, मुझसे 1 घंटे में 5 क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं, मुझे वैसे ही सॉल्व करना है. ट्राई टू मिमिक दोज सिचुएशंस, and it's very important that you take mock interviews before going for the actual interview if possible. And it doesn't have to be any paid mock interviews. You can ask your friend to take your interview. Just call him, or maybe just set up a meeting of 1 hour and ask him to ask any questions that they think are relevant. So it's very important that you take mock interviews, and it is equally important that during the interview you are serious. During those mock interviews you are serious, and you are mimicking the actual situations, and you are thinking aloud. I mean, I am repeating this point multiple times, because once you think aloud, I mean, you will become confident in yourself. Because ऐसा कुछ नहीं पूछ रहे हैं जो आपसे ऐसी बात पूछ ली कि आप बताना ही नहीं चाह रहे हैं, इतनी पर्सनल ऐसी कोई बात नहीं पूछेंगे. दे आर आस्किंग अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन, एंड दैट क्वेश्चन आल्सो यू हैव सॉल्व्ड अर्लियर एज वेल. सो दिस इज समथिंग, बहुत घंटे आप बिताकर आए हैं प्रैक्टिस के जब आप इंटरव्यू में बैठे हैं. सो यू नीड टू बिलीव इन योरसेल्फ, keep believing in your hard work, and just be very confident while communicating your ideas. ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या होगा, you can be wrong, or which you will not be, because you have worked enough on those problems. So yeah.
Okay, great. So, and along with that, Nidhi, like what are the parameters that an evaluator will go through for evaluation purpose or else for top-notch product-based companies?
Yeah, so basically, broadly, if we divide the parameters on which any candidate would be judged, for being hired, will be two. One is the soft skills, and the other one is the technical skills. So technical skills can be judged and will cover a major portion of key 90% technical skills and 10% soft skills hain, while they are actually culminating the results. So it's very important that you know core computer science subjects and you tell them really well, because I have seen that candidates who are not able to communicate their solution well are somehow, I mean, they do not end up getting those opportunities that they deserve. So make sure कि आपके साथ ऐसे नहीं हो. So prepare well and prepare with the mock interviews and be very confident. एंड सेकेंडली इज द सॉफ्ट स्किल्स. अब आप मान लीजिए किसी प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनी में जा रहे हैं, कहीं भी जा रहे हैं, यू विल नॉट बी वर्किंग अलोन, you will be working in a team. So when you are working in a team, you have to be respectable to others. You have to be patient enough to listen to what other has to say. So it's very important that you do not forget those ethics while working in the team, and you are respectful and very considerate and kind while solving the problem. And it's not like you are very rigid कि मैंने तो पढ़ रखा है, इस problem का यही solution होता है, and you start fighting. You are not there to fight, you are not there to prove any point, you are there to being hired. So it's very important that you do not forget all those soft skills which we are being taught since the childhood. So soft skills and technical sets together combined will be the parameters that you will be judged on.
Great, Nidhi. So, viewers, I believe you have noted it down. So, basically, make sure that whenever you are attending an interview, you listen to an interviewer, keep thinking what to say, what the interviewer might have told, and understand what has been asked, and after that, revert back accordingly and work on your soft skills so that it doesn't matter only the technical skills that you gather, but you should be able to deliver it to the interviewer or else to the person whoever is being asking questions, right? So that is
Right.
also an important part. So these are the things that you have to note down. And so let's say, as you have told, right, Nidhi, data structures, algo, and backend part, OS, DBMS, and other things. So I think few of the users are asking, like, is there any languages that they need to stick on to, let's say, for practice purpose, or else which is better for them to, what to say, understand, or else to write a coding?
Right. So yeah, selecting a language to, I mean, start with the placement preparation is something that every, I mean, fresher, I mean, get stuck there. They think कि कौन सी language select करें.
Mhm.
But remember one thing, and every experienced person will tell you the same thing, that it's not the language that matters, it's the logic that matters in the end. It's your approach that matters. They are not asking you to write the code only in Java. It might be that there might be certain roles that are asking for the knowledge of a certain certain language, but we are not talking about that. We are talking in general. We are talking, if you want to get a software role, I mean, on the entry level or wherever. So I mean, they are not asking for a particular language. You can say you are free to select any language that you are comfortable with. Talking about the language, I see that there are generally two languages that freshers choose from. One is Java and second is C++. So C++ is more like the low level language. So if you want to go into pointers and all, you can select C++. I selected Java. I mean, I think I selected Java because I was, I mean, I was new to that, but still I selected that because मेरे पास ऐसे कोई option नहीं था. The place where I was learning from, they were offering only Java course, तो मेरे को तो लेना पड़ा वो. तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं था. But either of the two, whichever you select, they will never, even in the interviews also, they will not ask you to write the code in Java or C++. It will only be for the coding round that you have to select, from the drop down which language that you are coding in. Other than that, during the interviews, they'll be fine with you writing the pseudo code as well. They are not focused on कि Java में semicolon लगाना भूल गए हैं क्या, ये तो इनको बाहर निकाल दो, ऐसा नहीं होता है. They are just looking for कि इन्होंने कितना अच्छा problem का solution बताया, and this is the optimal solution, complexity इसकी अच्छी है. This is what they are looking for. So language does not matter.
Okay, great. So language does not matter, guys. Again, work on, so whatever language that you are learning, make sure that you are thorough enough and you are really good at
Right.
things that you are writing in, right? So pseudocode also does work. If you are explaining it to an interviewer, just make sure that you are understanding the technology or the language that you are working, right? So that is one part.
On
Huh.
this on this point, I would just want to call out explicitly one thing,
Mhm.
that there might be certain scenarios जिसमें वो ऐसे comparison पूछ लेते हैं कि मान लो कि Java में कुछ garbage collector है, वो automatically कर लेता है. In C++ you need to do it manually, तो थोड़ा थोड़ा comparison अगर पूछें तो उसके लिए be ready, be curious enough to know कि अच्छा दूसरी language में क्या होता है. I mean, not many questions, but might be certain questions that you might have to face. Yeah. So be thorough with that knowledge, with that comparison type questions. Read 1 or 2 questions. I mean, I think there can be, you can very easily find a top 10 questions based on the language comparison and all. So
basically
update
yourself with other language and other tools, right?
Right.
Yes, great. So yeah, which brings to the next question. Sub ho gaya, technical part ho gaya, everything they know, they have the good knowledge. But when it comes to finding a job, right? Finding a job or approaching a person for a job. So that is the most difficult part, which most of the students, freshers, or even experienced people, right, struggle at. So, what is your perspective on application process for candidates? Like, which one to choose, where to go, how to apply, and how to approach a person for a job?
Right. So if you ask me the platform that they should use, so I think I find LinkedIn to be the most effective platform to ask for referrals. Okay. So LinkedIn, they can start using, if they do not have to make so many connections there, right? You just need to create an account. And if you want to ask for referrals, so just make sure that just like when we are going for a war, we keep our tools ready and very brushed and very, we keep them ready. So just like that, similar would be here, that your tool here would be your resume. So how well you present everything, how well you present it's basically a reflection of your experience or your knowledge. So make sure that the template that you use for building your resume, make sure to use them wisely, and whatever content that you put there, make sure it is well reviewed and well thought, because it will, before you are there in person talking to the recruiter, your resume will reach before you to the recruiter, and he or she will be judging you on the basis of that. So make sure that your resume is well tailored in accordance with the job description, first of all. And secondly, once you have the job, once you become engineer in the top notch companies or anywhere for that matter, you will get busy, and so will be the persons from whom you are asking for referral. So be patient. If the person, say you send the request for asking for referral to 100 people, so just accept the fact that only 5 out of 100 will be responding back to you. So be patient enough, and keep sending the referral requests. Do not bug a person so much. So there is a structured format that you have to be respectable while asking for, the referrals and all. Send them the job ID and ask them if any other detail is needed for giving the referral and all. And be very respectful and do not bug them, and try to send them try to send your referral request to a lot of people, and be patient during that procedure, I would say.
Okay, great. So, along with that, just a follow-up question, Nidhi. So, as you
Sure.
have mentioned, to prepare a resume in such a way that it would be selected, right?
Right.
Any like how they can shortlist, or else how they can how what to say a student or viewers can make sure that it is ATS friendly, or else what it comes in when it is like going through ATS software, like what all key terms or key words that they need to work on. Any suggestions on that?
Right. So, before actually asking for referral or before actually applying for any job, you very clearly need to take into consideration the job description that the company has put forth. Just read it thoroughly, understand what kind of role they are offering and what kind of person they are going to select. And tailor made the resume in accordance with that. You should meet the eligibility criteria. Say for example, they are asking for the experience to be 1 to 5 years, say for example. So if you fall into that category, then only you mention that your year of experience is this much, because you meet that criteria. So try to find those keywords which are mentioned in the job description, and try to put a USP there, just like कि ये मुझे सबसे अलग करेगी, दिस विल मेक मी स्टैंड आउट. तो वो ऐसी मतलब स्किल सेट अपना लिखिए. ट्राई टू कीप थिंकिंग कि मैंने कौन कौन से प्रोजेक्ट्स किए थे. कभी कभी ऐसा होता है दैट वी हैव डन सर्टेन प्रोजेक्ट बट वी हैपन टू फॉरगेट दैट कि पास्ट में करा था, क्या ये रेलिवेंस है. But there might be certain projects which might be useful to and which are worth mentioning on the resume that we might otherwise find कि क्या ये नॉर्मल सा प्रोजेक्ट ही तो था. So just make sure to study the resume, job description well.
Okay, yeah, Nidhi. I think there was some technical issue. We can go with the question again. Viewers, just let us know if you are able to hear us and see us.
I can hear you clearly.
Great. I think they should also uh, see us and hear us. Okay, great. They are. Yeah, Nidhi, I think you can get back to the question that you were explaining on.
Yeah. So pardon me, can you please repeat the question once?
Yes, I was speaking on the application process for candidates. I think you had mentioned about how to approach, and LinkedIn is the platform. So I think if users can also recall it.
Right. So the best platform to ask for referral and approach, any job opening, the very first one is any top product based company generally have their careers page on LinkedIn. I get so many queries and DMs regarding where to find the jobs. So say for example, you are approaching, or you are trying to find any, job opening based on your experience in Adobe. So go to Adobe's LinkedIn careers page and search for, there are multiple filters. So search for the relevant, job opening for you by putting in your experience, years of experience, and the, department that you're looking a role in, say consultant or software development, and you will find whatever job openings are there with their, with the advertisement that they are, associating the job with. And make an account at LinkedIn for asking for referrals to already existing employees of that company. So once you get the referral, make sure that you fill the application form on the LinkedIn as well, and as well as you get the referral from the employees. And after that, if you are, I would say, if your resume stand out and it gets selected, then you will definitely get an interview call and the procedure will be taken ahead. So you
Okay.
will get the call from HR as well, and then they will guide you for the further steps. So don't worry about that. The only, I think, the steps would be to find the relevant job for yourself, to ask for referral, and if you get the interview call, then they will take you ahead or your application ahead.
Great. So viewers, basically just make sure that you work on your resume well, and after that approach either your seniors or who might be working in those reputed companies, or else you can create your own circle and approach them. Just make sure that you don't bug them and you don't ping them again and again asking for, is there any job, or can you refer me? Can you refer me? Okay, so
Definitely,
these are
we
things.
yeah, definitely. I think I was just saying, we have to be patient enough and understanding about the scenario, that they are there where you are dreaming to be, so they will definitely be busy with some tasks, or maybe, so be patient enough. Agar 100 resume, so referral request डाली है, तो कुछ ना कुछ तो reply करेंगे. You just want one, right? You just want one referral to be, I mean, given. तो
Yes,
वो कोई ना कोई तो दे ही देगा. So be
that's what.
optimistic and patient enough, I would say.
Yes, do your groundwork, apply for a lot of companies so that at least you would be able to reach those 5 or 10 companies that you are planning for. Right.
Definitely. And do not take any company lightly.
Yeah, so they would stick on to their shortlisting, what do you say, rounds and everything. Just make sure that you are ready for it.
Definitely.
Yep. So, which brings to the next question, Nidhi. How things work at big MNC, and you are also currently working in Adobe, right? And typically, like what you usually deal with in terms of projects, or else how is it for you in terms of experience that you have gathered over Adobe?
Yeah, so I mean, my experience so far has been great. I have been, I think, lucky enough, or I mean, to land in a company that is very employee friendly. The policies here, I mean, they take care of the employees so much. We get enough leaves. We get flexible working hours. Our team, we get to work with so bright-headed people who are not only bright-headed, but at the very same time they are good team players, so they know how to be respectable and kind to be other people. So I mean, I value those things so very much. I mean, I feel secure working at that place. And apart from that, projects wise, I would say that we so basically it depends what kind of technology that you work in. Some, and it is team specific. So in my team we have the projects which are legacy projects as well. So we are not free to work in any technology if we are working with those projects. They say, for example, the already written code is in C++, so we'll be forced to write in C++ only, and we will be fixing the bugs in C++. So if we do not know, we will have to learn it if we are working on that project. Apart from that, some new projects that we get, and that we might be working on, might be in the latest technologies. So over the past nearly 3 years now of me working in Adobe, I have worked with multiple technologies. I have had the experience of working in Python, Django, Java, C++, Golang, React, JS. I mean, a whole lot of technologies that I have worked with. So depends, again, the kind of project that you are given, and what kind of technology that they will be using. Sometimes if the project is new, you get to choose what technologies that you want to work on. So I mean, yeah, the culture is great. The work-life balance, the balance is amazing. Hashtag Adobe life is something that I really enjoy.
Great, Nidhi. I think if guys, if you are planning for Adobe, I think these words will definitely inspire you to make this in your target that you are looking for, right? And prepare well, and try to concentrate on the skills rather than other things, which might not be necessary, right? So stick on to those, and take help from seniors, or help from these kind of mentors. Nidhi Sharma, you can check her out in LinkedIn also. I think she provides a lot of insights on what do you say, how to build yourself and how to grow in terms of technical knowledge and all those things, right? So which brings us to the last Q&A session that we have gathered and resourced already from the previous viewers and students who are interested about like how to pursue their career in product-based company, right? So let's go to the questions that they have given. So I think
Sure.
these might have already answered, but I will ask again so that whoever is asking for the answer for this, right, would be able to find it, I believe.
Sure.
So the first question goes, so let's discuss how to get call from these companies, right? So these tech giants, there might be students from top reputed IITs, NITs, and there might be students from tier 2, tier 3 colleges, right? So what kind of role it does goes like in terms of attending a call from these companies or preparing themselves for these companies, like does it work similar for both kind of colleges, or is how hard they need to push to make sure that they are there in those circles?
Right. So firstly, the I think the only benefit that you get in being a student of a branded college is the fact that you do not have to actually search for the companies. The companies come and visit on your campuses, and they search, the best candidate suitable for their role. So basically the thing is, if you are, if you have worked, or if you have worked well, and you have you are studying in a branded college, that's great. Still you have to work on the skill set that these companies are hiring for. And similarly it goes for somebody who's from tier 2, tier 3 college. It might, again, they will have to work on their DSA, their OSD, BMS, and these topics. तो मेहनत तो सबको ही करनी है, दोनों को इक्वली मेहनत करनी है टू गेट हायर्ड, ठीक है। जस्ट द फैक्ट कि इनको ऑन कैंपस पे मिल जाएंगी, उनको ऑफ कैंपस अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा। मे बी दीज टॉप नॉच कंपनीज आर नॉट विजिटिंग टियर 2, टियर 3 colleges, and they might have to go through 1 2 extra steps, but it does not at all say that they cannot get hired in Mang or in other top notch companies. So basically the thing is, if you are targeting these companies, do not be disheartened at all that you are from tier 2, tier 3, because these companies do not have anything to do with you being in tier 2, tier 3 colleges. They are only hiring you for your skill set. They are hiring you as an individual, not your college, for that matter. So be very clear and be very confident in your skill set. Build your skill set. Do not think about the brand name that you carry along. It's fine. I mean, उस पर्सन ने पहले मेहनत कर ली होगी, वो ब्रांडेड कॉलेज में आ गया। अब आपको थोड़ा सा स्टेप्स में और मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी, 2 3 steps to ask for referral and all. Otherwise everything is just, I mean, the same. And also these companies are looking for diversity. They want to maintain diversity at workplace. तो इसीलिए ऐसा नहीं है कि they will be hiring everybody from IITs only.
Okay.
They will be hiring from multiple different colleges. And as you also mentioned that there, I mean, there might be some telephonic round as well. So I can tell you very, I mean, because I have an experience of this, I mean, about Adobe only. So during the internship roles, for if somebody wants to target the internship role, so for that purposes they happen to have telephonic rounds. And for I mean, high level filtering of a candidate, they happen to, I mean, for other roles like Google happens to have a telephonic round before they actually call you for on site interviews and all. So it's kind of high level filtering कि अगर पहले से ही मतलब वो देखना चाहते हैं कि कितना eligible है बंदा, उसको बुलाया भी जाए इंटरव्यू के लिए या टाइम वेस्ट ही हो जाएगा. So for that, so you have to be very confident and again very confident and honest in answering those. And telephonic ho ya in person ho, I mean, interview is the something that will test you on your skill set. So be confident and just answer very honestly.
Okay, great. That was a good answer, Nidhi. Basically, you need to pull up your socks in terms of getting yourself prepared, so that you need to get yourself focused on. And there is a question from Pankaj. Pankaj Kashyap asks, I think he's in first year CSC. So if he wants to plan for these technical giants or something related to product-based company, so what are things that he need to start with in terms of building his skill sets, or else in terms of getting himself understood that this is the right job or this is the right company to choose for?
Definitely. So, for the first year student, if you are, I mean, asking this question, first of all, I mean, amazing that you are so, I mean, so eager to learn, and so, I mean, that, clear in head कि मेरे को job ही करनी है. So that is something that I really appreciate you for, first of all. And secondly, I think you are in first year, so अभी तो 4 साल बहुत एक लंबा टाइम होता है. You can definitely prepare yourself for these top tech joins. The only thing is you should be guided in the right direction. So uske liye I think talk a lot to your seniors and ask them what worked for them. Talk to them about ki kya seekhna hai kya nahi seekhna. I mean, make connections first of all, and secondly, solve coding questions. Focus on DSA and focus, and because you have time, so do coding questions, submit the coding questions on different coding platforms, read the articles, geeks or geeks articles, and choose only one platform whichever is suitable for you, be it interview bit, hacker rank, hacker earth, anything. So make sure that coding is your forte. In upcoming years you will be studying the subjects that I already mentioned. Maybe you have studied in the first year, depends, I mean, हर किसी का अलग structure होता है हर कॉलेज का. तो OS और DBMS जब ऐसे सब्जेक्ट्स आए या कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क्स आए तो उसको बहुत ज्यादा सीरियसली पढ़िएगा, उसके नोट्स को संभाल के रखिएगा, आगे काम आएंगे वो डेफिनेटली. एंड ऑल्सो वर्क ऑन द डेवलपमेंट, चाहे वो वेब डेवलपमेंट हो, एंड्रॉयड डेवलपमेंट हो. मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव प्रोजेक्ट्स. एंड आई थिंक क्योंकि आप इतने रेडी हैं अभी से ही, तो बाय द एंड ऑफ थर्ड ईयर you will definitely want to have an internship. So internship will be basically a way for you to actually see कि मैंने कितना, आई मीन, ओवर द 2.5 और 3 years मैंने कितना अच्छे से अपने आप को प्रिपेयर करा है टू सिट इन द इंटरव्यूज. एंड इफ यू डू वेल इन इंटर्नशिप तो पीपीओ के लिए प्रिपेयर कीजिएगा. इफ नॉट, देन उस बचे हुए टाइम में प्रिपेयर, आई मीन, वर्क ऑन योर वीकनेसेस, identify your weaknesses and strengths and work accordingly,
Great,
and you will
great answer.
definitely do well. Yeah.
Great answer, Nidhi. So basically, Pankaj, I think you have what Nidhi was telling you is you have a lot of time, 3 years more, I believe, right? So basically, upgrade your skills till that time, and I think you have a lot of opportunity in terms of internships also. If let's say if you want to see an exposure of these technical giants, right? Try to apply for internships in those company, and anyways, you will get to know about the corporate projects or etiquettes that they follow, right? So that would be a better approach, I believe. And yeah, that's what, like in these 4 years, make sure that you understand and you plan accordingly, and which company to choose, is it right fit for you or not. And after that, in the fourth year, you ask this question again to yourself, then I think you will get an answer for your question, right? So that would be one part. And again, Nidhi, one more follow-up question on this. I think
Sure.
Pavitra is asking about is CGPA matters, and year gap, if there is any year gap in between, does that matter?
Okay. So, I mean, generally these companies are very employee friendly. So they create these employee friendly policies now, and they are trying to normalize any, year gap or experience gap that you might have, and हर किसी को खुद को rejuvenate करने को या फिर life की difficulties है उनको face करने के लिए might be कि कोई break लेना पड़ रहा है, तो they are just normalizing these things. So you just give very honest answer to while this question is asked कि आपने क्यों break लिया था. As long as you are able to do justice to that question, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's just normal thing, first of all. Secondly, asking to your second question is CGPA matters. Definitely CGPA matters. I mean, I can tell you that first round of filtration that Adobe did while they came for on campus pool in our college was on the basis of CGPA. So they said that in graduation you should have 70% or above percentage, and also no current backlogs you should have. Yeah. So basically this is something jo ki, I mean students do not understand during their first and second year. They are very chill about it, and after that they get to, you know, reality hits hard, तो उनको पता चलता है कि भाई ये तो बहुत दिक्कत हो गई मार्क्स की. So make sure that the right from the beginning, अभी जहाँ पर भी आप जिस भी year में है, make sure that you focus a bit on making your CGPA a bit better, क्योंकि CGPA अगर अच्छी होगी तो it would definitely make you stand out, you know, and एक अच्छा advantage रहता है शुरू से ही. ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर सीजीपी अच्छी नहीं है तो कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे, ऐसा नहीं है, बट एक इम्पॉर्टेंट एस्पेक्ट बन जाता है. सो आई मीन ये एक अच्छा फैक्टर रहेगा, और मे बी आपकी यूएसपी भी बन सकता है आपका अच्छा सीजीपीए.
Okay, great. So basically, CGPA matters in terms of filtration. Just make sure that you are in that level where the companies are, what do you say, streamlining in terms of a
Definitely.
baseline, right?
Right.
70%.
Generally it
Yeah,
is 70-75. Yeah.
yeah, 70 होगा, 75 रहेगा.
Yeah.
So make sure that you don't go in terms of backlogs. बहुत सारा backlogs, you will be taking it in till third year or fourth year. Don't go with that. Stick on to your studies, understand well, and don't give a chance to interviewers or companies in terms of CGPA, which should affect your career, right? So वो सब चीज़ के लिए चांस मत देना. Just go with the things that at least maintain 70, 75 or 80 CGPA throughout, so that at least you should be able to participate in the interview rounds that these companies are getting into your college, right? So
Just adding to the, I mean, this point
yeah,
only.
Nidhi.
I mean, don't be disheartened अगर आपकी इतनी परसेंटेज नहीं है या सीजीपीए नहीं बन रहा है. ऐसा नहीं है कि सभी कंपनीज सीजीपीए को देखती हैं, बट ये है कि इफ यू वांट टू इंक्रीज योर चांसेस कि आप कहीं भी अप्लाई करें, आपका एक्सेप्ट हो जाए एप्लीकेशन, तो उसके लिए मेंटेन दिस मिनिमम सीजीपीए और थ्रेशोल्ड. जस्ट ट्राई टू बी अबव दिस थ्रेशोल्ड परसेंटेज. बट अगर आप ऑलरेडी पास आउट हो चुके हैं तो यू कैन नॉट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट. सो डोंट बी डिसहार्टेंड. देयर आर
Yes.
सर्टेन कंपनीज जो कि इस क्राइटेरिया को रखती ही नहीं है.
Yes. So that's what, like, if your CGPA is less, yeah, आपको year back है, something like that, just make sure that you are fulfilling those, what do you say, drawbacks with your skill sets, so that in those time, if you were not available, in sake of, let's say, college, you had a year gap or something, but you have a lot of skills in your resume and projects in your resume which can fulfill those drawbacks, right? So you use that and you can definitely, I think, crack the interviews, I believe. So that is also an add-on point which I can mention. Yeah, and coming to the next question, Nidhi. So seeing the current trend, right, which follows a lot of employees switch company within a year, within 1.5 year. एक company हो गया, अभी दूसरा company, and after that again one more. How does it affect on professional life or its professionalism that they are building in corporates?
Right. सो पहले मतलब इफ आई टॉक अबाउट, आई मीन 5-7 साल पहले या 10 साल पहले की बात करें, तो ये वाली चीज बहुत अफेक्ट करती थी. मतलब कि आपको एक कंपनी में ही रहना है फॉर एटलीस्ट 1 ईयर और सो, और फिर मे बी फॉर अबाउट 2-3 ईयर्स और सो. बट अभी सीइंग द करंट सिनारियोज, इट डज नॉट, आई मीन इट्स योर चॉइस, इट्स कंप्लीटली योर चॉइस. इट डज नॉट मैटर कि आपने 1 साल के अंदर स्विच कर लिया या आपने 2 साल में 4 बार स्विच कर लिया. आई मीन यू नीड टू, it's your choice again. It's the, I mean, how comfortable I am made to feel at a current job, you know, how well I am treated, how well I am paid, what is the learning curve there. If I am happy with that, why would I switch? I mean, I've been working with Adobe for around 3 years now, and I did not think to switch just because I was comfortable enough here, and the kind of projects that I was working on, I was interested in doing those projects. I was treated well, I was paid well, everything was there. So why would I switch? But this is the scenario wherein happy case is there, you know. So say for example, if I am working at a place where I do not feel valued, I am not paid well, I am not treated well, or any reason for that matter, my relationship, you know, employee manager relationship is not that great due to xyz reason, or my location is not what I want, you know. So I am free to switch, you know, and it's perfectly fine if I have to switch because of any such things. So it matters it doesn't matter if you are switching frequently or if you are staying with one company. What matters is how valued you are felt, you are feeling while working in any company, how secure, how well treated you are at your workplace. Your happiness matters in the end, not, I mean, not how frequently or what is the frequency with which you are switching.
Okay, great. So what that means is, let's say you have joined a company and make sure if it works out well for you in terms of mental health and the work that you are doing, definitely
Definitely.
go for it. If not, then I think you can look for a switch in terms of monetary benefits or else in terms of better exposure projects or a good employer and employee relationship that you are getting over there. So think all the
Definitely.
aspects, and after that, go for a switch. So that would be the suggestions from me and Nidhi, I believe. And yeah, so a follow-up question on that. Let's say if a person is already there in a company and in these technical giants, what kind of internal, what do you say, hikes that they would be usually getting? Like, is it satisfactory, or else does it also leads to switching the job or something?
Okay. So I mean, a salary questions are something so everybody is looking. I mean, the answers for.
Yes.
Definitely. I mean, if you have, I mean, cleared very difficult, I mean, multiple levels of rounds of interviews to land a job here, there must be something good here. मतलब employee friendly policies तो हैं ही, साथ में salary or compensation that you are paid should be good too. I mean, that is also a key thing or factor in any role. So definitely salaries बहुत अच्छे होते हैं. They are in accordance with the I mean market adjustments होते रहते हैं. तो उसके हिसाब से there are multiple factors which I mean which decide the kind of hike that you will be getting. And generally I mean सभी product based companies में या सभी बड़ी companies में कुछ factors common होते हैं, जिसमें सबसे पहला है आपकी performance, how well you perform, how well you present your work to your manager, and how much your manager is convinced with your performance. So that is first criteria, I would say. Secondly, I mean, inflation plays an important role. Say for example, in our country this year it was 6%, so hike should be somewhere, I mean, above it, or it should be, take care of that as well. So multiple factors, just like in corona, during the corona, this pandemic, there were hikes which were low, and in some companies it was normal. So multiple factors which decide कि आपको क्या hike मिलेगा. But overall they are very satisfactory, and I mean definitely they will try to retain their employees, and they will try to keep, making them very happy कि वो वहाँ पे काम करते हैं, तो उसके लिए देना ही पड़ेगा, और देते भी हैं definitely.
Great. So, yep, monetary benefits also does matter, and along with that, see if you are satisfied with the work or not. अगर कम मिल रहा है and if you are satisfied with the work, then definitely think about it before you switch, because it shouldn't affect your mental health also.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that exploits or anything that deteriorates your mental health is not worth it, I would say. I mean, mental health, keep your mental health and keep your happiness of working at a place first before any monetary benefit, I would say. Say, for example, you are getting 1 crore salary in hand 1 crore salary, and you are completely deteriorated at your mental level. So, I mean, what is the use of that money again? So it's very important that you, I mean, decide your priorities, and in case you are not happy with your salary or with the hike that you are getting, please make sure that you communicate it very clearly or explicitly to your manager. Talk to your manager, tell them about the points that you worked on, the projects that you worked on. I mean, they will definitely agree if you worked on, and ask for the feedback. Keep, try to keep your manager in loop, and make sure that whatever you feel, personally, it is in terms of work, it is communicated well to your manager. I mean, that is very important. At least communicate and then think about whether to switch or not.
Great. Yep. So what Nidhi meant to say was be visible to your managers so that they understand what you are doing and are you worth giving a hike or else giving the extra benefits that you are asking for, right? So that is one part. I think we are running out of time. The last question from Prajakta. I think she is currently serving in service-based company. I think she might be looking for an upgrade to a product-based company. What she is asking is, what should be the start step or its initial part to go ahead with to switch for product-based company?
Yeah, so firstly, I mean, I think it becomes very difficult once you start working, once you are working professional, to find some time to prepare and, to prepare to switch. But again, preparation would be needed definitely. But since you have made your mind, now you need to, make a action plan for yourself, make a plan of action. And first of all, try to find out the target companies, your target companies. Once you have found maybe top 5 or top 10 target companies, then you start looking for, just do not directly start preparing. First of all, just try to make a plan of action for yourself. Start looking for, look at the past interview experiences or the Geeks for Geeks archive to actually understand what is the procedure of interviews that these companies follow for hiring any candidate, first of all. And secondly, once you have in hand that these are the things that I need to work upon, the next point would be to find out your strengths and weaknesses. Say for example, कुछ लोग बहुत ही ज़्यादा अच्छे होते हैं in terms of communicating, तो उनको इतनी prepare करने की उसमें उस तरफ जरूरत नहीं है. They need to just brush up their coding skills, and उनको OSDBMS मान लो आता है. तो you need to find clearly your weaknesses and strengths, and then you start coding. Make sure that you take some time out each day to prepare for the coding section and to do well there. Make sure that your resume is updated and it is well updated and it is tailored, again, in terms of the job description. And these are the things that I think can be kept in mind while targeting to switch.
Okay.
All the very best.
Great. All the very best, Prajakta. I think that ends our Q&A session. Uh, there is a last question from Dikkala. I think I would answer it. Okay. What you can do is, I think Dikkala is Gauri. Yeah, Gauri is asking for. She's in current second year, and she don't have any knowledge on programming languages and nothing much on computer science related field. So basically, I think you can try to focus on learning the concept from scratch so that you can build your skills in terms of whatever the role that you are looking for. And first, make sure that you are comfortable with CSC related or else programming related job itself or not. Is it your cup of tea or not? Because entering it and after that regretting it again, it shouldn't happen for any of the viewers, right? So if you're really good at it, and or else if you think that okay, I can do it, then definitely go for it. And if not, there are other options also. You can be an entrepreneur, you can be you can find management related jobs, or else if you want to go ahead with some other profile, you can definitely do that. If not, then pull up your socks, start preparing from today itself on the concepts that we have already discussed upon, right? And after that, you will get a better picture after 3-4 months that where exactly that you are standing, and you can take it further from there. In fourth year, definitely you will be able to answer this question that you have asked over here, that you are really good fit for a product based company or not, right? Anything to add on, Nidhi, on that?
Yeah, definitely. In addition to, definitely agreeing here with you and all the points that you mentioned. Just the fact that, Gauri, you just need to understand that, first of all, be very optimistic. There is, it's never too late to start
Yes.
doing, anything or preparing for anything. Once you are clear in your head, that is the right time for you to start preparing. And secondly, if you are not clear about what to prepare, where to prepare from, then do follow such people who are giving tips and suggestions on what to how to figure things out. And the best way would be to talk to your seniors and try to identify what all opportunities are available around you. Try to write them down and then try to mash those opportunities with your interests. Say for example, you are a good speaker, and you want to do something in management, and on your campus there might be certain companies who are visiting for, say, career, a customer success manager or any such roles for that matter, and they require such skills, so you are a good match there. So talk to your seniors, try to search for those opportunities, and try to align your interests with those opportunities. I think once you have that, then you'll have a very clearer picture of what you want. All the very best.
Great. I believe, Gauri, that answers your question. And yep, as we are running out of time, any final tips that you want to give to our viewers so that they can plan better?
I mean, the only thing that I would say to all the viewers is that it might be very tiresome, or at times it might be very disappointing to go through this very rigorous and long process of preparing to land a job, or maybe your dream job into these product-based companies. But it's very important to remain patient and consistent. Consistency is the key. Once you have, I mean, you have to very clearly have a plan of action for yourself, and once you have that, then you start preparing, and you do not stop until you get or you secure a job in these product based companies. And I mean, वो बिल्कुल ही नॉर्मल लोग ही होते हैं, मतलब हमने भी बिल्कुल स्क्रैच से ही शुरू करा है, सब स्क्रैच से ही शुरू करके यहाँ तक पहुंचते हैं। तो ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि किसी के पास ये प्रिविलेज है वो प्रिविलेज है। देयर विल बी डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ पीपल। ट्राई टू आइडेंटिफाई कि आपके जैसे लोग कौन है, और ट्राई टू गेट टिप्स फ्रॉम देम. And I mean, definitely there's no shortcut to success, so keep brushing up your skill set, you will definitely do it.
Great. Thank you so much, Nidhi. Thank you for your time, and thank you for sparing your time to address our gathering viewers who have come here to get a better knowledge on what to do in the future, right? So
Sure,
thank you
sure.
again. And viewers, you can check Nidhi Sharma in LinkedIn. I would be sharing her LinkedIn ID in chat. You can do that. I think she is the best person to provide you the insights related to what you need to do, what are the skill sets that you can go with. And one more thing that I would like to add is, as this is a podcast that we have done just to address you all to know about more on the product based companies and product based company related skill sets that you need to have, right? So in the future we would be doing similar kind of talks which might give you a better exposure on skills that you need to build or individual topics. We'll take your feedbacks on that also, and we would be proceeding on that. Stay tuned and check our webinars, check our podcast for making yourself better, and these kind of tips and tricks that we used to give or we will give in future, right? So this would definitely make a lot of changes in your life in terms of hunting for a job or else upgrading yourself, right? Anything to add on or anything to tell, Nidhi,
No, I think
before I
you
wind
pretty
up?
much, sure, sure. You pretty much summed up everything. But I would like to thank you, Ajay, for inviting me here. It was definitely a privilege to share my experiences and suggestions with the audience. But again, I mean, the only bottom line would be keep believing in yourself, and you will definitely make it.
Thank you so much, Nidhi. Likewise. And yep, so which brings to our last part where I think I would be sharing an attendance form in the chat. You guys can fill it up. And after that, stay tuned for our coming webinars also. We would be doing it, and we would be having a repetitive webinar from Nidhi Sharma again. Stay tuned for that, and check out our social media handles. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check out Nidhi in her LinkedIn page also. And so that's all from my end. Stay safe. Thank you so much, guys, for sparing your 1.5 hour time. And yeah, that's all from my end. It's Ajay Bilab here signing off. Thank you all.